Welcome back, brothers, to the 801st Star Wars Legion podcast. Today we're going to be talking about a lot of cool stuff, so sit back, enjoy the ride.
Hello there.
You must unlearn
The dark
what you
side
have
of the
learned.
Force is a pathway to many abilities.
Red,
Some
green, or
consider
red, green, red.
I know.
She thought she'll do.
Sorry about the mess.
I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you.
General Kenobi.
Let's rearrange some architecture.
Is it possible to learn this power?
I thank you for your hospitality.
Twice the pride, double the fall.
Impressive.
I'll show you the dark side.
All right, and we're back. Those hyperspace drives are just absolutely amazing.
Man, they make you have to pee sometimes.
Yeah, like, you wouldn't think you'd have to hold it when you're in hyperspace, but there's something about like the acceleration of time and space is equally relevant to your bladder.
Well, it's like a car ride, you know. For some reason, you never have to go till you're in the car. You know? Yeah.
Man, I will say though, like hyperspace in general this is maybe the most irrelevant thing on the planet, but hyperspace in general has been on my mind a lot lately. Mostly because I'm like listening to a different sci-fi franchise's books right now, and I have this whole concept of like, okay, Star Wars does that much differently, and so it's just really interesting to look at the science behind it. Definitely a weird topic, but
Definitely a weird topic.
that's a different podcast. But yeah, who knows?
Hey, at least it's not as bad as 40K is the warp.
Well, how does that work? Yeah.
So it's kind of like you go in through a portal that goes through another dimension to travel, but it could take anywhere from like 5 minutes to like thousands of years.
Oh, really?
So you don't know.
Because
you could pop in thinking, oh man, I'll be at grandma's house in time for cookies. You come on out, grandma's funeral. You
so
know,
it's like extremely dangerous to do. It's like
it
something
is
I don't like to do.
Super. Like I don't even want to get into it. That is a whole other thing.
Interesting.
But,
Yeah, because like Halo does it slip space where it's like sort of like that, but it's
kind of instantaneous. Right?
yeah, it's like I tore a hole in the galaxy and another hole appeared somewhere else. So it's like it's more like how Star Trek does it. How you enter one portal and you go through another.
That's true. I'm not gonna lie. I think Star Wars has theirs a little bit more pinned down.
Well,
I guess maybe because it's like it's simple.
It's also because it's not pinned down at all because it's just like hyperspace. It's a thing. Like they don't try and explain it.
It just happens.
Right, because like if you like in Jedi Fallen Order, like you have to sit and wait for hyperspace, but you're ready to land whenever. You know what I'm talking about? Where it's like, all right, kid, we're almost there. It's like literally, I'm just standing here for an extra 5 minutes, just testing you, and we're not landing yet.
Yeah.
But anyways, on to Legion. Space. What do you got to do with me? What are you gonna do?
Space, big place.
But yeah, Matt, Legion this week was pretty good. We didn't play a lot of games, so this week we're not really gonna talk about our games of the week, just because there's so much more meat to talk about.
There is, and I guess like especially for our Intel briefing. Beep, 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 Intel briefing starting off.
I'm gonna clip that and then use that forever now.
Oh.
Intel briefing.
Man, you should get me doing like an air horn or something. You know? Just terrible.
But yeah, Intel
there's
briefing.
A lot.
Take us away.
Well, I guess first and foremost, we want to talk about the big boys, especially because this has to do with our bet from last week. Adepticon is dead.
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Corona
Adepticon.
got to it.
Yeah.
Corona killed Adepticon.
Right?
No.
And it's super sad. I don't want to laugh too much at it because it is a sad thing, but like,
right.
Yeah, but you know, like it is.
But if you know us at all, you know we're gonna laugh at it.
You know we're gonna joke.
We gotta at least make some light of the intense situation.
Exactly. Yeah, because it is an intense one. But yeah, everybody be safe out there. As far as what I've seen from FFG, it sounds like all their events are canceled. They even talked about, I think they posted today about the like primes and other organized play events for other games that are canceled and postponed as well. So it looks like at least through the next month.
Yeah, possibly even more.
I
think it actually did say until June 1st.
Oh, really?
Early June, for sure.
Well, that would make sense because I think mostly from what we're seeing from the CDC is a little while out until things calm down.
You know what's really crazy? So today my brother in California, his county is on like a complete lockdown. You're only supposed to go outside if it's like to get necessities. Other than that, you're not allowed, your businesses they're saying don't open unless if you're like health, like a medical field or something like crucial to the our survival. But then it's really weird. They also say like restaurants may stay open. It's like what?
Who's going to those restaurants?
I'm sorry. Yeah, exactly.
Right?
I mean, I love me some Buffalo Wild Wings, but
Oh, right. It's sad because around here, I know they said no more restaurants can be open.
Right.
Fast food and carry out only, right?
right. Well, yeah, it's the same
Yeah,
thing. So
yeah.
they said like restaurants can stay open, and they actually did that first, and that's what I'm saying is like it's really interesting. Everything that my brother's area has done, us here in Salt Lake have done like 5 to 6 days just later. So like they restricted groups to 100 or more. Their churches got closed for a couple weeks. Then our churches got closed. And it's just super interesting how like over there it happens first, and then like now we know like okay we can expect within 5 to 6 days Salt Lake is
it's
gonna.
like a literal double vision.
Yeah,
Like, it's
yeah.
looking into the future.
So I'm just saying if you're in the area. Salt Lake, or maybe even further east.
What's coming next?
Yeah, or maybe if you go so far east, you're already at New York, which the same thing is happening over there. So, I don't know if you're in the Midwest. I guess we have the longest period of like, whoa, buddy.
yeah, we're catching up.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. Is like, yeah, I'm working from home now. Like they set
Yeah.
up a VPN that we could all log into, which was interesting. So we could do remote access through a secure system, and we're all working from home for the next
So wild.
3 to 4 weeks.
I'm also working from home.
Really?
I live here.
Oh,
So,
oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what the sleeping bag.
yeah.
Was. Okay.
Yeah, I sleep in the shop. I wish I was joking.
I know. I'm looking at you. There's a face of defeat. It's kind of weird because it's half happiness, it's half defeat.
So yeah, one of the guys at the shop called in because someone he lives with is a high risk. So I totally understand.
Yeah.
And then the guy that we have on backup to hopefully cover for the situations like that also has a high risk of catching it because I guess somebody he came in contact with was exposed. So he's on quarantine now too. So really, with also one of the other guys being out of town, it's me and one other guy running the shop for this entire week. Oh. So lots of doubles. That's going to be fun. I will let you know how this goes next week if I'm still alive.
Right? Hey, now you have no reason to not paint your minis, man. Like, they have no excuse.
Well, that's the thing. It's
no
like
excuse.
it's not like it's hard labor sitting in the shop, especially when you only get like one person an hour. It's like that brave soul coming in, like, "Hey, I'd like to buy a game." It's like, you should really not be here, you old fool.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, but yeah, no, I mean, I get it. Like, what are you gonna do at home?
Right?
You're gonna play board games.
Yeah.
You're gonna play tabletop games. So I get it. But man, like, it is kind of weird to like see people like nonchalantly, and they're the type of people too. They're like, "Oh yeah, this is just a cold." Those people are gonna die first.
I know. Like, those are the people that like always get infected in the movies and turn into zombies
Yeah,
first. Like,
right?
they're the zombies first, and you're always just like, idiot. Because let's be real, like it's not about you, it's
Right.
about everybody else.
Right? No,
Like,
that's the thing. It's like
don't be that guy that carries
Right.
the infection onto the spaceship.
Right.
And turns into alien.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well,
yeah.
I mean, like everyone knows, people our age, early 20 guys, like we're probably
20s,
not going to get it.
30s,
But the
yeah.
thing is, you already got it when you were sick back in November and December. That was probably Corona, and you just didn't know.
Dude, I really hope it wasn't.
You were sick for a couple weeks.
Dude, I was out of it. Like, you guys could probably hear on the podcast, I was stuffed
Yeah.
up. I was slower. Dude, it was like a solid
You
month.
probably had it, dude. I'm not even joking.
Not even, it kind of scares me because, like, apparently, like, that kind of stuff with how quickly Corona's come around, it does put me technically in the, like, high risk.
And you're around
Because I
your
still have
grandpa
had
a
it.
lot.
Really bothered me. So, yeah. So, everybody out there, be safe. Be careful. Worry about... Remember, it's not about you. It's about the other people.
Right. Like we were starting to say, like we could catch it and we could be fine.
We would have no idea, though.
But then you came into contact with little old Granny Nassie over there, and you killed her. Like,
Yeah, like,
she did.
I would feel so bad. Yeah. Oh, God.
Anyways, we talk about Corona not out of fun. In all seriousness, guys, please, be safe out there. Even though it sucks to have all these great things for Legion and other games we enjoy canceled. Like, for example, E3 got canceled. That's something I was looking forward to. I go with my other job, so I won't be going this year. So, yeah, that's unfortunate. A lot of these things get canceled or pushed back. So, yeah, just be safe. Understand that I would understand that it's better to have over precautions and save lives than nothing at all. I don't want a zombie apocalypse.
Not yet. At least not yet. No.
I saw this meme the other day where it was like millennials yesterday literally, please anything kill me, and then millennials today, no, stay away, Corona. Like, what do you want?
Oh my gosh, and that's funny. It's like the General Grievous meme.
Yeah.
The lightsaber.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, that's our intel briefing. Getting all that stuff out of the way, we have 2 giant juicy steak topics for you today.
Ooh, it's like a turf and turf.
Yeah, I like that.
I like
it's like
it.
not just double turf.
Just nothing but
Time to
meat.
hit the mud. Have you seen that one?
Yeah. Nothing but meat today, boys. Oh gosh, turf and turf. Yeah, it's like, I think it's a Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He goes to a restaurant, he orders a turf and turf. It's like 2 giant steaks. So we got a lot of meat to talk about.
I tried that show, by the way, and I was like, yep, this isn't as good as The Office.
I know.
And I understand that it's like you can't compare the two because eventually I know, as people have told me, they grow into separate beings. But at the same time, it's like, nah, I'd rather just watch The Office for like the 8th time.
This year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, agreed.
But yeah, on to our first main topic. We have a very special gal to talk about. Who might this special gal be, Matt?
You know, she's like the opposite of our boy with his big iron giant. We got Iden Versio.
Big Iron Giant. Is that what we're calling it now?
K2, the Iron Giant. What do you? Okay.
I know we talked about this last week, but the way you said it there sounded kind of.
I don't even know what you were talking about.
His Big Iron Giant, Matt.
Stop. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Cassian,
okay.
is that your Big Iron Giant, or are you just happy to see me?
Right as like the planet's exploding. Oh my gosh. Not the time, Cassian. Oh my goodness.
No wonder. Never mind. I'm not gonna say it. Let's move on.
We're gonna move on.
All right, Iden.
Okay.
Iden Versio is her name. For those of you at home that don't know who Iden is, Matt, who is Iden Versio?
So I believe she was a character created for Battlefront 2, but they kind of before the game came out, they made a book. What was it, Twilight Squad or something? I can't remember.
Inferno Squad?
For Inferno Squad,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right, the book. For Inferno Squad, the book. And she's the leader of Inferno Squad. So if you played the Battlefront campaign, that's who you play as.
Right.
Really cool character. Her daughter gets brought up, and she actually ends up going to be on, being like the books, preparing for Episode 9 and all that. Really, really cool characters.
Yeah. You know, I really have to just double down on that. I really like her character. From reading the book before the game came out, and then when the game came out, playing as her in the campaign, watching her go through her trials and her growth as a person. Sure, you may say if you played the game, the game's campaign aired on the side of safety, but overall it was like a really wholesome and good story of someone that found redemption in like the worst situations. And it's really good. I like her character. She made interesting choices that I don't think I would have made if I was in her shoes.
I think that's for me the biggest part. She was just interesting.
Yeah.
Did interesting stuff. Different take on Star Wars as well.
Yeah.
And she's just kind of, a little bit of a badass.
Right,
Let's
right.
be real. She's
like
really
100%.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like if you're gonna lead this elite squad of troopers,
Yeah.
both in the air, space, and on the ground, like you gotta have something to you.
Yeah.
Also, fun fact: Janina, I
Yes.
believe that's how you pronounce her name. The actress that plays her. I played a game with her at E3 in 2018.
Really? You met her?
Yeah. Well, we played together. In the situation we were in, it wasn't like, oh, hi, I'm Kyle. Nice to meet you. We talked a little bit. Like 100%, she probably doesn't even remember this. But it was in the Ubisoft booth. We were playing Starlink Battle for Atlas.
Oh, no way. Cool.
Yeah, and so we were playing separate games, but we were standing right next to each other. We were joking back and forth. Oh, this is cool how this does this. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm playing a game with Iden Versio.
She probably had no idea. She's just
Yeah.
like, who's this sweaty guy who keeps
Why
talking to me?
Why is he sweating? Why does he think everything he says is so funny?
Why does he keep making Star Wars references? Yeah.
No, in all seriousness, she was super cool. Like she 100% a blast to be around.
Not gonna lie, I'm super jealous.
Yeah.
I know she does a lot of like actress work as well.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
she's supposed to be a really cool person to meet.
Oh yeah, she does a lot of voice. Yeah, she's a great actress. She does a lot of voice acting for games and TV. All around though, like the impression I got is probably like because I've met a couple like celebrities, in my life. I would say she's probably one of the most chill like actual people. I don't know if you've ever ran into a celebrity like at an event or something like that.
Yes. Well, okay. This is actually my buddy in high school.
Oh.
Do you want to hear the story?
Yeah, no.
Okay,
I just think it was funny. It was like,
Michael-
I totally met a
it was
celebrity.
with-
Well,
I
my
was with-
friend met
I
a
was
celebrity.
I was with him and his brother.
Oh,
when
okay,
this stuff
okay.
Happened. So but it was more his experience.
okay.
We were at a restaurant up in Park City during. So here in Park City here in Utah, they have Sundance Film Festival, big event.
Yeah.
Really, it's at like the ski resort. Is where it happened. But everybody goes to Park City anyways. Long story short, we were at this restaurant getting food, and we saw Michael Cera. So while I was in line getting food, he and his brother went over, and they started taking pictures of him.
Nice.
But it was without his consent. And so he came over and got to a
that's
fight
a
with
different
them.
situation. Yeah.
Grabbed his phone and smashed it. Yeah.
Wow.
Super interesting thing.
So your
It was,
friend's just a douche.
Well, Michael Cera was.
Oh yeah.
But that was a thing that happened. I
Wait,
also met Hans
who was
Zimmer.
taking the pictures?
Oh, my friends.
Oh yeah, that makes him a douche. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No,
like
so it
taking
was like-
pictures of someone without their consent. That's
I-
messed up.
I don't know. I came back and I was like, "You're a celebrity. Like, you should be okay with that." It was
Yeah, but they
interesting.
get it every day. You should
That's the
understand
thing.
that.
That's true.
And like you might say like, oh, that's part of their job description. It's like no, they never consented to having their privacy. He's just, anyways. That's my own rant.
I also got to meet Hans Zimmer, which is really cool.
Oh, that is cool.
That was really cool. Yeah.
Breaking the phone, I will say, is kind of excessive.
I
But
thought
yeah,
that was
yeah,
excessive, but it was as a high school kid, you're like, oh man, this
Right.
is a great experience. You're like, not really,
Yeah.
but it was a fun time.
I do hear that the right thing to do in that situation is just to go over to the person and say, hey, can I have a picture? Because then it's over and done with it. It's not awkward
Done.
anymore.
Well, you also don't want to draw like too much attention to them.
Yeah.
Like they already have to deal with that.
Right. Yeah. But anyways, overall, celebrities like in that experience, like I feel like Janina was like way cool. That's what I'm saying.
And she's going to metaphorically break the game.
Oh my gosh, that's so interesting that you said that
Because-
because her card is like right in front of us and we could talk about it.
Right? Do you want to do this? I
Yeah.
feel
Well,
like I
let's
did it
go. Let's
last
go.
week with
Yeah.
Cassian.
Let's go over it a little bit, which is interesting because you like. Well, now you play Rebels, but we'll get into that in a minute, I'm sure.
I don't play them very well. Let's just be honest.
So yeah, overall, Iden very similar. She's a little bit more expensive than Cassian. Again, we talked about Cassian last week. So overall, very similar structure, archetype feel for their faction. She's a little more expensive at 100 points. She has 2 training slots, a gear slot, and an armament slot. She has quick thinking, which is when you can gain. It's the same thing as Leia. She can gain an aim and a dodge token. Or no, sorry, not Leia. Padme has
Padme.
that. Does Leia have something like
Somebody
that?
else is. I think it's Jin has. Quick
Jin
thinking
has
as
quick
well.
thinking, yeah. Covert ops, it's the same as Cassian. When you deploy, you can treat your rank as operative. If you do, you gain infiltrate. Again, I'll say it again this week. I just don't see the point of why you would, why would you want to give that up unless if you had a key opportunity for infiltrate? That's why I'm glad you have the option. You don't have to.
It's very much like a check out the board first.
Yeah.
We can talk about that in a second.
Right. Yeah.
But it's very,
there are certain objectives that you'd want to do that for sure.
exactly.
Loadout, same as Cassian. Bring up a backpack full of gear and stuff of any upgrade, which is so freaking awesome, by the way. Marksman, same, and then but she has nimble instead of danger sense.
This is interesting because that's a rebel keyword.
Right.
It's a rebel keyword. Especially what I think is so powerful about that is with rebels you've got white saves. Man, she's got a red save and she's got
Yeah.
nimble. That's like she's literally Kenobi. Kenobi
Yeah.
has the same health.
Well, here's the sad part. She's gonna be better at dodging than Kenobi.
I know
Because she has nimble every round instead of just one.
Dude, oh no.
I mean, Kenobi has deflect. That's a different story, I guess. But overall, nimble with red saves, super good combo.
It's very good.
Yeah, I'm excited for this. This is like Cassian got you into Rebels. She's getting me. Well, I haven't bought Empire, but like I really want to. I really have been tempted to. I've thought about doing a whole Halo theme and stuff like that.
Right.
So We'll see.
And we haven't even talked about the rest, but finish breaking down the card because there's
Yeah,
so much
so
more to it. Yeah.
her melee combat isn't all that impressive, but you're not really going to want to get her in melee. She has 2 red die at melee. And then her ranged attack is 1 to 3, 3 white, pierce 1, which, okay, she has an armament slot, so when are you ever going to use that?
Yeah.
She surges to hit, which is good. So if you get a surge and you're going to get a hit, you can marksman that up to a crit.
Well, what's cool is she's got the pierce, so if you do take a regular gun, you just surge to hit. Don't even reroll, just spend it for a crit, instant pierce. You don't need to fish. You just get the damage.
And that's probably the best part, too. There's never going to be a situation where you're like, I would shoot them, but I'm not going to get a hit through. It's like, bro, like you probably are.
You're going to get your hit through.
I like how this is different than Sharpshooter. You know, like Sharpshooter has its distinct flavor. This is like a different archetype of it, you know?
Well, no, I hear you because Sharpshooter takes away your cover.
Right.
This adds crits which you get through cover. There's the additive and this I want to say subtractive, but that's not the right word.
Well, I know what you mean.
The same thing.
Well,
one thing takes away, one thing adds, but they do the same effect.
For example, I find consistently with Rex, I'll get 2. He rolls 3 red dice. I'll consistently get 2 hits and a crit, or 2 hits and a surge, which becomes a crit, which is super interesting because if Rex had marksman, I could just spend one of those hits to crit, and now I'm getting 2 through instead of cover 2, which would only make that 1 crit, you know? So the capacity, think of a Z6, the capacity on a Z6 to do, the ceiling is higher is what I'm saying. You could do more damage potentially, but it's a little bit less predictable with marksman than I feel like it is with.
No, I agree.
Yeah,
you could still fish with your aims,
right,
and get blanks.
Yeah, and she has a speed too, like most trooper units. But she also comes with this handy dandy robot, Iden's ID10.
Does
ID10 Seeker Droid, which honestly, it's Dio. I don't know why did they take that name away from it. I don't know.
I just think it's so funny. Now we've got 2 Dios. Yeah.
Lucasfilm story team, man. Yeah, I don't know. I understand it's different droid types, but they called this droid Dio in the game all the time. So whatever. That's neither here nor there. But Dio is a counterpart to Iden Versio. So same like R2 and 3PO. You have to bring Iden in order to bring Dio. But what I find really interesting about this is the specific wording is, while building an army, this mini can be added only to an Iden Versio unit. Why would it say that?
Well, we talked about this a little bit, but that hints that maybe there's a possibility we get something that's not Iden Versio unit, something that's Iden Versio upgrade. It could just be the wording,
right?
But
imagine
what if you ever get her as an upgrade for something?
Yeah, imagine Inferno Squad has a similar functionality to let's say ARC Troopers, where you can plug 5 and Echo into a core unit. Maybe Iden is going to be plugged and played into Inferno Squad as their unit leader, or maybe they can, whatever. Maybe Iden can be deployed into a. We don't know, right? That's a whole wide range of things. But what I'm saying is, I think this wording gives a whole lot of flexibility, because an Iden Versio unit implies that there's more than one, for sure. So we'll see how that goes. It also has recharge 1. When you recover, flip 1 inactive shield token. So pretty much Sabine's shield right there. Shielded 1, which ties hand in hand with that.
Oh, do you know what's crazy about that? It takes her 6 health to 8.
Yeah.
That's just...
You know what's really crazy about that? Shielded 1 with a dodge token with nimble.
With nimble.
What the crap, dude?
And then you just recover on one of her actions. You get it back. That's just...
yeah, man, that's so nuts.
It's so good.
And then small. When determining line of sight, cover, and range, ignore this mini. So you can have Dio out in the middle of nowhere in cohesion while Iden's behind line of sight to maybe, hopefully, maybe take advantage of command cards or something like that. So Iden's completely safe, but Dio is also safe because he's small.
Can he hide behind cover to give her cover too?
I don't think that's how it works. It could be. Hold on. It says when. Oh yeah, that's actually a good question.
Oh, I guess no, because I guess you ignore it. So
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
You
you
wouldn't
just-
be measuring.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because it's not just one way; it's both ways. When
Yeah.
when you check for line of sight cover or range, ignore this mini.
That's true. So measuring cover from him wouldn't matter because you're
Right.
ignoring it. Okay.
Oh, but you know what's super
So it
good
wouldn't
with that?
benefit her, but it wouldn't help her. Yeah.
So we're gonna get into his. Actually, let's just jump into it right now because he has a command card. It's called Incapacitate. It's a 2-pip. During Iden Versio's activation, you may choose an enemy trooper unit at range 1 and in line of sight of Iden's ID-10 Seeker Droid. That unit gains 3 suppression tokens. Then if it is a core unit, that has not activated this round. Assign it a face-down order token. So pretty much you're saying if it's a core unit, you're not even activating this round, which is super good because if you combine that with the range. Maybe you put in cohesion, you put Dio a little bit further ahead to get into range 1, right?
Oh, so like you're in heavy cover, maybe line of sight, but he's sticking outside of the building, for example.
Yeah, and so like he's in range 1, but Iden is not. So if a unit with a range 1 attack wants to attack, they can't. They probably can't even melee because I don't think you can even run into a melee from Dio.
Well, you know what's nice about that too is since you aren't, I wonder if that also means you aren't triggering standby off of people.
Yeah. Oh, very true.
Like
Very
let's
true.
look at let's think about that. Would that trigger standby off of people?
Well, it's just like it's range. So if Iden's not in range 2, it doesn't matter. It's like K2 has inconspicuous.
Yes.
But this is like more along the lines of how I would have thought that would have worked before they revealed all that.
Oh, well, I guess it's not even an action. It's just
Right.
something that you pick. So
Yeah.
like you just like Kenobi does hello there.
Yeah.
You trigger that. Okay.
Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah,
It wouldn't flip his token face down, but 3 suppression's not bad.
right. Well, and I do wonder how that's going to come into play. Like, are you going to want to do the 3 suppression on a unit? Maybe you like, oh, Grievous has like 2 suppression. I can give him
panic
3
him
more
outta here.
right now.
Yeah.
That's probably a good call, unless you're like you with your white dice and just roll all the suppression off.
I never roll the saves, but I always roll the suppression. Yeah.
But yeah, moving on to Iden's pips. Why don't you read her 1 pip for us, Matt?
Ooh. So her 1 pip, I have opinions about it. It's interesting. We'll talk about it. So it's called Pulse Scan. Iden Versio gains Sharpshooter 2, 1 aim token, and at the end of her activation, she gains 1 dodge token and 1 standby token. So this is kind of like Cassian's, where you get to do your activation, you get your shots, you do your stuff, and then afterwards it gives you the option to get another shot. Mm-hmm. Where Cassian can get like 3, this will give her 2. But it's still really good because as we'll see later, the guns that she can take are so good.
Yeah.
That getting 2 shots off is just it's remarkable. It's
Well,
amazing.
and something we're finding out more that I don't think a lot of people are utilizing is the standby token doesn't mean that whoever comes into that range has to be the one to be acted upon. So like this can essentially accomplish the same things we were talking about with Cassian last week, where he could in 1 round take care of all the snipers. Iden can do the same. Someone comes into her range. Okay, well, instead of attacking them, I'm going to pop off and kill all these snipers that are trying to put me down, you know?
Right?
It's just interesting. But she can't be attacked, right? Like she has to, because then she'll gain a suppression and lose a standby. So it's a little bit more risky, is what I'm saying.
It is. She doesn't have that gunslinger like Cassian. But what's nice about this is like, if you take her gun, which I guess we could hop to the gun, her TL50 repeater, it's 2 reds, a black,
Dude.
and 2 whites. Critical 1, impact 1. So let's say you're
That
able
is
to
such
trigger
a
that
beautiful
off.
gun.
Best gun of the game, by far. That's a lightsaber. That's Kenobi's
Yeah,
lightsaber
minus a black. But yeah, jeez, that's so true.
at
And range 3.
And you already searched a hit, so it's like, wow.
You have critical 1. Yeah, you search the hit like you were saying, and then impact. But let's be real, when is that getting used?
Right? Well, think
I'd
about
rather
it.
have critical all around.
Well, it's crazy because you can also so you play this card. Get this, you want to kill something, right? You get your aim token. You move to shoot, so you get double aims, and then sharpshooter into somebody with this gun.
Yeah,
And
that's
then at the end of the turn, you get a standby, and you still have an aim left over because you're tactical. So you get 2 aim
that's very
shots
good.
at people. It's wild.
So do you think? So we've been over her sniper rifle before in another podcast, but just for a quick recap, it's the infinite range, 2 black, high velocity, Pierce 1, standard sniper but infinite range. So between these 2 guns, which do you think is going to be the one you're going to take more?
That's hard. It's nice that they have the same point value because with loadout, you can choose before the match what you want to do. But I think I'm taking her. I think they're taking the 50 repeater, the TL50. I think I take it almost every time, because if you need to, you can still infiltrate to get to range 3 real quick.
See, and that's interesting because I lean on the side of wanting the infinite range.
Really? Oh.
And then they don't have any snipers. All right, repeater. You know.
Okay.
Yeah, because if they have snipers, I'm gonna get those down right away, within the first.
2 rounds, probably, right?
And okay, so I killed 2, and round 3 I can move up and do more stuff. But I feel like I feel like there's different lists for these. I feel like the sniper rifle will go much better if you have a Boba or a Bosk out there collecting a bounty, or doing some close range encounters.
Oh, as a support.
Yeah.
Guy. Okay.
Yeah, I feel like Iden is. I feel like her repeater blaster, the lightsaber on wheels.
Yeah.
I feel like that is more of the I need to hunt down the hero kind of. You know what I'm saying? For example, if you're fighting against Tauntauns, maybe I'd probably go with the repeater. If I'm fighting against, let's say, Kenobi and Rex build, I'm probably gonna take the repeater. Even with the sniper, even if they had snipers, I feel like those get more utility for those characters.
Yes. Yeah.
But still, I stand by the fact that I think 60% of the time I'm going with the sniper.
Okay. I can respect that.
Yeah.
I can respect that.
Yeah, I think there's only a few situations where with my play style, I would go with that. And all I'm really saying there is that my play style is worse than yours. So
no, you're fine. Well, it's nice because you can also use marksman to just get your crits. With Pierce 1, and you got your crits on there, you're basically just acing something off the table.
True that.
Turn 1
True
if you
that.
got the sniper rifle.
Moving on to a 2-pip though, we went to incapacitate. So that's Dio's 2-pip. Her 2-pip.
This is the big boy.
Oh yeah, concussive blast. When Iden Versio activates, she recovers. During Iden Versio's activations, she gains the following weapon. It's a range 1 to 2, 5 red dice attack with blast, scatter, and suppressive.
Any other keywords you want to give her? Any other keywords at all?
Yeah. It's like they looked at Iden and were like, you know what? She should just have everything.
You also give her marksman on that attack if she needs it. Go.
Man, I'll say it. If she was a bounty hunter,
Done.
Oh my gosh. Every day. But that's the thing. I think she'll support bounty hunters very, very well because she's cheaper and gives more room. I feel like at the same point cost, we have Krennic about.
Krennic's 90, you give him aggressive tactics, it's the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like the popular build with Krennic is to put Bosk on there. I feel like she's just going to leave Krennic in the dust.
Well, that's another question is do you even need the operatives if you're taking her? Because she's so good.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I'm saying. If you're doing a bounty build.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I feel like she's going to be way better at that. Sure, you get Entourage and Cunning with Krennic, but it's I feel like it's only a matter of months before a couple of those things become too expensive to take as much as we've been taking them. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. We'll see when the point reevaluation is done with the short troopers and the
Tons, yeah.
And the Tons. But what I'm saying is I feel like Krennic has that shoreline with him, the short troopers, and then with Entourage he gets the death troopers. I feel like the short troopers, as we all know, are probably going to get a little bit of a spike. So it's okay, well, the dynamic with Krennic isn't as solid anymore.
Who am I going to take?
Yeah.
Now? Yeah. And she's going to be your, who do you, for the points and for what she does, why would you take anybody else?
Right. And I just got to say, she is probably the most refreshing Imperial character that we've gotten in a long time.
She's also, the most overpowered.
Right, but she
So
breaks
powerful.
the mold so well. She's still, really, Empire, going guns a-blazing kind of deal. Red saves, that's great and all, but just her versatility breaks the mold of the Empire of being like, I'm really good at this one thing, you know, like I'm really good at standing here and shooting,
Right.
with the gun lines and all that stuff. I feel like Iden is just like, no, we can move around, we can do that. And how long have I been complaining about that with this game? Like, I feel like everyone just gets into position and starts shooting, you know?
Yeah, it's not like that attrition game, especially with the Empire. Where like, okay, they're not gonna move, so I'll play the objective and hope I can win.
Right.
If I survive, but also they have red saves, so how are you gonna kill them? You just have to play the objective.
Yeah.
This does pull her out. It just blows my mind that you're shooting a gun with marksman. You're giving them no cover, rolling 5 reds, which is Dooku's lightsaber, surging to hit, scattering them out of cover, and then giving them 2 suppression. Like, who survives that? Nobody survives that.
Oh, man, I just can't wait for that card in specific. I feel like that's going to be one where, like, you know, there are a few cards in this game where your opponent plays and you're like, oh crap.
Like Son of Skywalker.
Yeah, Son of Skywalker. Now you will die. Double the fall.
Oh no, yeah. Oh, what's his the one that gives him relentless.
Yeah. It's just like, all right, I guess I'll die.
Fear and
So I feel like this is that card for Iden. It's like, okay, I'm dead. So
like,
you just gotta grit your teeth and get through it, which is great for your opponent.
And speaking of moving and being versatile, we've got her 3-pip to talk about.
And this, yeah. Why don't you read that for us?
Tactical Strike. 3-pip, Iden Versio, and 3 troopers. That's a lot of troopers. And what does it do? Well, we've got Iden Versio. So when Iden Versio or a friendly Spec Ops unit that has a face-up order token activates, it may reduce its speed to 1. If it does, it gains steady and tactical 1. Iden already has tactical 1, so that's tactical 2.
Yep. Wait, she has tactical 1?
Oh, doesn't she?
She doesn't have tactical.
Oh, she doesn't have tactical 1. That's right. That's right. She's got marksman.
She has, yeah. That would be insane if she did.
We'll just give her an offensive push. But
Yeah, for real. Like, oh, that's perfect. That is perfect because what you would do is you would just save offensive push for when you make this move.
When do you do that move?
So you just tap offensive push. Now you have 2 aim tokens.
And then what do? You re-roll, and then you just turn everything to crits.
Oh my gosh.
It's pretty good.
Well, so like if you're like with her repeater, like for example, you're probably gonna get a hit.
You'll probably get your reds, your black,
Right.
and then your 2 whites. You'll need to re-roll.
Yeah, two reroll. So if you have 3 aim tokens to spend, right? So possibly, like I think you're exactly right. I don't need to repeat what you said, but that's just gonna be nuts to be like, okay, yeah, all these hits will be hits, or all these dice will be hits or crits. Good luck.
Well, you know what's great about that? If you need to, after that, you play her 2-pip. She recovers, gets it back for free. So she can offensive push a couple times in that turn just for free.
That's super good. Oh my gosh. And it talks about a friendly Spec Ops unit. Gee, I wonder what they're talking about.
Oh man, I wonder. Like, who would that be, Kyle?
Definitely Scout Troopers. What's funny is in their live stream last week they had Scout Troopers, and I'm like, those are just stand-ins. I'm like sitting here like scratching my face. I'm like, those are just stand-ins for Inferno Squad because they have. I'm sure they're probably gonna have like similar stats. They're probably gonna have low profile because they're special secret agents. I think they have a possibility of that as the unit having tactical, like ARC troopers are gonna have.
Oh, okay.
Like I think that's possible. We've talked about their possibility of plug and play. But yeah, I think overall that's going to be one heck of a unit.
It's going to be a lot because it's 3 troopers. So
that's
all your Spec Ops.
Yep.
And you don't even have to give to the Spec Ops. Let's say you got like your short troopers around there. And just give it to your short troopers as well.
Wait, okay, hold on. So when it says when Iden Versio or a friendly operative unit with a face border token
or Spec Ops, yeah.
Or sorry.
So they have to be issued.
Theoretically, if I had more than 1 Spec Ops unit with a face-up order token, they can. There's no limit, right? When it says or a friendly, it's not saying that like, oh, once you do that, it's done, right? If that's how I read it, right? So like, all 4 of these units with face-up order tokens
could do that. Yes.
Yeah. So if she gives it to all of her Spec Ops units.
Well, for example, let's say you've got Krennic and he's got Death Troopers.
Yeah.
Like you could give her her orders to other trooper units,
man,
and
that's
then
hot.
still get your entourage to the Death Troopers. So you're making sure everybody's getting their orders they need, and your Spec Ops are still getting them because Death Troopers got theirs. She gave them to a couple other Spec Ops, and then maybe your Shore Troopers still got one that coordinated to the mortar.
Well, and more than likely, we're gonna have one more quote unquote Inferno squad.
Oh, easily. Yeah.
Well, so like a bunch of these leaks keep coming out about this squad, and to keep it brief, it says on the description of the box that Inferno Squad and then other that the Inferno Squad box comes with other units that are just like them. Maybe they're not as good without Gideon, Dell.
Like a generic squad.
Yeah, like a generic. What would their class be other than Spec? But you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
So like I think maybe it's Inferno Squad, and then the heavy upgrade is like similar to what we're seeing with the ARC Troopers again. So I don't know. But either way, so like you can get multiple units, and this could really buff those guys up, really beef them up.
Oh, it will.
Yeah,
I guess I got this question for you. Out of all of the Imperial commanders, where does she rank?
Well, so as someone on the outside looking in who hasn't played Empire, playing against them though, I still think Krennic and Palpatine are top tier. I think Palpatine is the best. Krennic is a close second for his point cost and what else he can
He's just
bring
a lot
with him.
easier to use too. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's like a playstyle shift overall though. So Krennic and Palpatine are up there. I think she beats Vader, Commander Vader, on like a lot of levels.
A
Just
lot.
Way more complexity to her. Beats Veers, but let's be honest, you're not taking Veers for his effectiveness. You're taking for his utility. You know,
His cheapness.
Yeah,
Really,
yeah. Yeah, I think she's like upper tier for sure. Maybe not A tier, but B, A minus tier.
See, yeah, it's interesting. She's definitely up there. I think she's probably the best.
Really?
She does everything.
Yeah.
She is. She's Boba but better.
Yeah.
She's Bosk but better.
Yeah.
Because Bosk's gun is 4 whites and a red. Hers is 5 reds.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's range 2. She infiltrates if she needs to. She has marksman. Everything
She reminds me a lot
does.
about Sabine too.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, we talked about that before with her like whole shielded token and stuff like that.
Does
Sabine have nimble? I forget. I haven't played her with her in a
I
while.
don't know. I don't play Rebels that much.
I think she does though. So I could be wrong. Correct us if we're wrong, guys. But yeah, overall, like comparative wise, not just Empire but Rebels even, like she's better than a lot of them out there.
She's better than a lot of just characters. Period. Out there. She's so good.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like she makes me want to play Empire. Because one, I love her character, and two, like she just seems really good,
Right?
Really
She's
good.
So cool.
I think honestly, something else I want to point out too, R2 and 3PO have this whole counterpart system, but I find myself running 3PO maybe 2 out of 10 times. Like rarely do I run 3PO just because I can get away with the 35-point activation with R2. He's just chilling in the back with clones for example. Or maybe he's doing a secret mission where he can heal himself. And that makes a world of a difference because he can heal himself, right? So it's not always crucial that you bring 3PO. But I think maybe I'm wrong, but I think Dio is 100% an instant add to Iden. I don't think you're going to ever want to play a game without that shielded, without recharge, without... You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, well, you can spend shields to block pierces outside of melee. So,
Right.
like, if you take that, you're not getting shot by a sniper like turn 1 because she doesn't have impervious or immune to pierce.
ooh,
That's going to be the key to taking her down is pierce.
yeah. Yeah, you're right. Because, like, she spent her shield token on this attack. All right, now all
right,
three
now
of
we're
my
gonna get
pierces.
her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she can get ganged up on pretty easily. And she has 6 health, which is really good.
8 if you've got Dio plus the shield.
Right. Dio does count as a part of it, so you could be like, all right, I'm going to lose Dio to... Interesting. Okay. Well, okay, so here's the thing. Oh, wait, no, they brought this up in the stream, too, because I was going to say,
okay.
what about emergency stims? Could Dio eat that? But I think they clarified that that's not how that works.
Like it's the character has to
Yeah,
use
yeah.
stims. I think so because it's once you're about to die that you
Right.
pop it. So Dio will be gone by that point.
Yeah. Okay, so interesting.
Because that's true. Because Dio has his own set of upgrades, and he's
Right.
not taking the stims. Yeah.
He could take and that's another thing why I think him being small, you can put comms jammer on him.
Oh, so you like pop him around the building? You're like, all right, sorry, bud.
Or just like a little bit further ahead, just right into range 1, comms jammer. Sorry, your death troopers aren't getting orders. Sorry, your tauntauns aren't getting orders.
Oh,
That is so good.
like she's so good. She's got a lot going for her.
I'm a firm believer in comms jammer. Like, I think it's an underplayed upgrade.
Well, it's just so annoying when you're like, okay, I'm gonna pop this card and psych, this guy can't go.
Yeah.
It really sucks.
It doesn't come into use 100% of the time, but 99% of the time it works 100% of the time.
60% of the time, it works all the time.
Yeah. Well, anything else we got to talk about with our girl Iden here?
Man, I really don't know because there's so much coming out that it's like, I mean, with everything we have coming out, what is it? April, the first week of April we've got Vital
April
Assets.
3rd is when her Vital Assets and Cassian are
Cassie,
coming out.
that's right.
And the AAT.
Like, the game is going to change so much with that release.
Oh, man, you're so right.
Like,
and that's why
that's the
another
hard
reason
part.
I think her Infiltrate will come into play. It's like, oh, yeah. No worries. I know I can only put a Corgi on this hostage. Oh, by the way, Iden is 3 steps away.
She's right there. We'll just pop her 2-pip, get her gun going.
Infiltrate. Mark my words, everyone at home. Kyle is putting stock into Infiltrate.
Really?
Infiltrate meta.
That's
It's
interesting.
Like, so many things are going to be useful for Infiltrate.
Well, I was thinking about this with Kurt because I played Kurt a lot this past week, and he played Op Vader. And Op Vader with Infiltrate, it's so much better because you're just right there in the middle of the board all of a sudden doing speed 2 maneuvers. Like, and then with his force abilities, like, dude, he just ends up being Dooku Light.
Right?
It's very good.
Well, and I'll say this as far as, like, what other factions, like, with factions with Infiltrate have going on. Rebels, I think if Rebels can force hostage exchange, it's pretty much a guaranteed win. Because if you have the right build, I should say. If you have Jin, K2, Cassian,
so like
Pathfinders, everyone's infiltrated. And one of your core units is escorting the hostage. So what? You have 2 guys back there with?
Yeah.
They're just there.
they're just. I will say I had 2 of the games I played with Kurt. I infiltrated Jin and Pathfinder super early, and we had advanced positions.
Ooh, okay.
So they infiltrated and Scout
Scout
won. But I also had Scout Troopers, the Rebel Commandos that already come with Scout 1 or Scout 2 built in.
Scout 1.
Scout 2, I think.
Okay.
Scout Troopers have 1, Commandos have 2.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So like you're scouting in. Basically, the entire army went from being advanced positions where you're like on the edges working to each other to being my entire army right in the middle of the board. Took away the range advantage, and we're in heavy cover. And I was able to do that with that was on Intercept. And the next time I did that with Recover the Supplies, because I was blue player, so I was able to force it a little bit. Like, really good. Now, flip the script. I was second player at a game against Josh this past week, and infiltrating got me killed because it was just a bad deployment for me. So it works, but I think you're right. Depending on the objective, it's going to be very powerful.
I'm telling you now, though,
Very powerful.
if you find Pathfinders at your local store, if you feel like they're collecting dust, buy them now, because when K2 and Cassian come out, they're going to be gone. Buy Scout Troopers right now while you can, because when Iden comes out, you're going to have a whole sniper army waiting for you, so they're going to be gone. So
I do think Pathfinders will get a lot of changes in the next little bit of rule updates. I will say that. That's
a buff or a nerf?
That's my hot take. I think they get a buff.
Oh, I'm 100% on board.
There's no way shore troopers cost less points than Pathfinders.
Yes, Queen.
No,
Oh my gosh.
Queen. Like, there's just no way. White saves, and they roll 2 white dice.
Yep.
Basically, like, even with Search to Hate, you're basically just rolling what
And you
your
know what that
droids
does?
roll.
You know what that does? That gives Rebels their identity back.
They need something back.
They need. I don't mind that the Empire has a couple really good punchy units, but they need to be way more expensive than the
gosh.
Rebels versions.
Oh, and don't even get me started on Bistan. So this past week, so hot take for Matt. Well, not hot take, but life update
Icy spot.
Yeah, icy spot. So Matt's been playing Rebels the past week and a half, and I'm telling you, man, because I wanted to get ready for Cassian and K2. There's so many Rebels need first of all, they should have cheap units, not as cheap as Sis, the Separatists.
Right.
Man, some of their units are way overcosted. Bistan should not be a tap, okay?
No.
The boy costs over 30 points. He's a tap for 4 white dice and a black. Search hit, no.
Meanwhile, your B2s over
that.
there with the CIS are doing practically the same amount of damage for cheaper.
They're doing more damage for cheaper. It's just okay. Pathfinder should be a lot cheaper. Do they need to cost more than the short troopers? No, not at all. It may be like 2 points more.
Yeah.
But short troopers should not be as cheap as they are.
I feel like they were more expensive because at first it's like, oh yeah, spec ops, they gotta be more expensive. It's like, oh, also, they're not very good right now.
Right? Well, because they're supposed to be the opposite of death troopers.
Yeah.
And they're not the other side of the coin.
And we're speaking strictly competitively, right? Like, fun factor wise, I can tell. I haven't played with Pathfinders. I've wanted to get my hands on them for a while, but I've just been holding off while I buy more clones. That being said, as soon as they come into the shop next, which is tomorrow, I'm buying them. So
I will say, be careful because they die. Well, here's the sad part about them is that without Jin or a 3 courage commander, they still get panicked off the board.
Right. Well, that's the thing too, right? It's like there's a learning curve. You know?
Oh, very high learning curve.
And you're just starting out. So give yourself a month, and I wonder if you're going to have the same opinions.
Well, that's exactly what Josh told me. He's played Rebels since the beginning. And I told him, well, I guess I'm just going to have to bang my head against the wall until I figure it out. And he basically said, yeah, just do that.
Remember how hard I was on the Wookiees before, I really just went in on the Wookiees? I love the Wookiees now, and everyone's like, oh, Wookiees are garbage. It's like, nah, they're really good at what they do. It's just not doing what you think Wookiees would be good at.
They're just not Tauntauns.
Yeah,
you want
exactly.
them to be Tauntauns, but they're not Tauntauns.
Right.
They're other things.
And I would have been totally okay if Tauntauns didn't exist and Wookiees just did that. I'm just saying.
Right? What's funny is I think Wookiees are basically supposed to get played similar to B2s.
Yeah.
Except getting it to melee. You know what I mean?
Right.
Play them like B2s. Take your hits and get as many of them as you can to melee.
Also, freaking Indomitable, oh my gosh, it's
Not
such
bad.
a good underutilized thing, you know? Rally off, oh yeah, I got 4 reds right here. Rolling and rocking and rolling.
Rocking.
All right, so I gave mine, but where do you said you put Iden up at the top tier?
I gotta say she's number 1 for me.
Really?
She's cheap. She works well. No matter what, just for her point cost, she's incredible.
Okay.
Beats
okay.
every
Now here's the
commander
harder
on the water.
question: her or Cassian?
Oh gosh, here's the thing. I feel like Cassian has so many more tricks up his sleeve, but I feel like he needs them to be good. Iden is just a one-woman wrecking ball, and so I gotta pick Iden. I'm sorry.
Ooh.
I didn't want to, but she's just straightforward damage that's gonna blow you out of the water.
That is
Cassian,
some
he's not
spicy take.
necessarily going to do that. He'll have to be supported and built around. But I feel like Iden, you just plug her into any list and she's better. Cassian, you
Red
have
saves
to
will
build
do
around
that to
him.
you.
yeah. Red saves will do that to you for sure.
Anyways, I feel like that's a good roundup of Iden, guys. Let us know in the comments section down below what you think of her. Let us reach out to us on Discord, Twitter, Facebook. Let us know all about that. Moving on to our next topic, which is something we have been talking about in chunks and bits, but I really want to just take a deep dive into, and that is the possibility of a Scum and Villainy faction.
Ooh. I'm actually really excited for this, Kyle. We've literally talked about this for months, ever since the game started, and we want to talk about what characters can possibly come, what we think would be good mechanics for them, how to give them their own identity, and just what would make them unique.
So should we start this off right, this segment? It's time for Double Vision. Yeah. So Scum and Villainy, you mentioned it. Characters. What kind of characters should we expect if a neutral third party unit, hero, trooper, creature trooper, slug man can
You're literally trying to name people without naming people.
Yeah. Here's the thing: is Jabba the Hutt a creature trooper? Are we gonna hurt his feelings?
Well, nobody's writing. I guess there is Salacious B. Crumb that writes him everywhere, so it's not even a Java unit. We'll get
FFG. Do it.
We'll get Salacious B. Crumb, but he writes Java.
Dude. This needs to happen.
So funny. But okay, here's what I want to see.
His attack is just annoying laugh.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right,
Taunting. Oh, they're the new taunt-tons.
the taunts.
Sounds like you're British. Taunt-tons.
Taunts. Sorry, folks,
Anyways,
listeners.
sorry, we're terrible at your accent.
But I would love to see like Black Sun, and I would love to see like crime organizations.
Yo, yes.
Love to see it.
Crimson Dawn. I mean, come on, like that all of that stuff.
And who's the leader of the Crimson Dawn?
Yeah, boy. Half man, half robot, all Sith. Once upon a time.
Maul.
Yeah. So Jabba the Hutt, we talked about Darth Maul. But like we said last week, we know at least someone, the Mando. The man himself. We don't know to what extent. We just know that announcement from Gamma. We just know that the Mandalorian, in some way, shape, or form, is coming to Legion. Which makes me think one thing, other than Scum and Villainy. Neutral expansions.
Yes.
Do you think that's a possibility?
Absolutely. And we kind of talked about this a little before the cast, and we've talked about it kind of ad nauseum outside completely. But I think there needs to be a rank, kind of like how there's like spec ops and support. I think there needs to be like a mercenary rank on top of operatives. And that's kind of what operative already is, but a mercenary rank could be the option to buy something that's out of faction.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe from the Scum and Villainy or these neutral factions, but for an adjusted points cost.
Yeah.
Maybe inflated even. But I think that's something that you've got to do. So if you want to take like a Mandalorian or you want to buy cartel scums, take them, but maybe they cost, a percentage more points.
Yeah. Well, and it got me thinking this week. We went to another game store that had the Lord of the Rings battle strategy game, or strategy battle game.
Yeah, whichever it is.
We were looking through the book, and the factions in there had certain bonuses and decrements if you combined them. I think we could see something very similar with that. Like, like Boba Fett, like if he were to ever get reworked, which I think should happen. If Boba Fett ever got reworked into a Scum and Villainy faction, you could take him with Empire for this cheap cost, but he will also work for the CIS for much cheaper. Or maybe that they just come out with Jango Fett for that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But maybe Boba is just dead. You hate to see it.
Well, it's the kind of thing where maybe if he's just like we talked about this before, where maybe they do not necessarily a reprint, but they do like a Scum and Villainy / neutral faction edition of that person. So you'll buy like maybe it's a Boba commander. He's a commander for the neutral faction, and he comes with a card. And so maybe you can take him for the Empire,
right?
But as a leader for Scum and Villainy or an operative for Scum and Villainy, he is a lot better. Like his keywords are better.
Or they give him the Jin treatment, where they give a gun to someone else that's also compatible.
Exactly.
Like with Rex. Yeah. Like maybe Jango Fett comes out and has a really good blaster rifle. Maybe it gives Jango like a better attack than Boba has,
right.
And Boba has Arsenal, so he could just be like, all right, now I have this gun and Pierce 2. Welcome to my party,
Or they could even get the Vader and Luke treatment, where maybe he gets better command cards
right.
that you're taking that fix him for the other faction as well. There's things you could do like that that I think would be really cool.
So on a core level, though, like for the Scum and Villainy idea, neutral faction, whatever it may be, what are some things that would make this interesting? I have mine. Should I just go for it?
Go for it, because I feel like I've been doing a lot of the time.
Okay.
Yeah, you go for it.
Okay, so I think one of the clearest ways to make this faction interesting and unique is give them something that people have been asking for representation of for the longest time in this game. We have every single color dice in the game for red, white, and blue matched with defense, except for black attack dice don't have a match for black defense dice, right? I think Scum and Villainy could be the faction to bring that in. A super risky dice. We talked about this before. Maybe it's like one hit but like 3 surges, or one block but 3 surges, or maybe even no blocks but like 4 surges. So like if you have somebody with aggressive tactics or somebody that gives that unit, or maybe they have a surge token from some other way, it just makes a block all that guaranteed. But like, for example, if you had no blocks on that dice and you got shot at with no surge token, it's like, all right, well, I'm just not even going to roll because it's super finicky.
Like, I have the same saves as droids.
Yeah.
But if you do have that surge, you're gonna get the surge.
Well, and it kind of plays into that whole attitude of like the scum and villainy that we see in Star Wars, like Han Solo, like creating his own luck. Maybe we see a young Han Solo show up in this game.
Oh,
you know, and so like young Han, young Lando, because we haven't even gotten Lando yet. So maybe we see those characters come, and they have really interesting command cards that like gain 3 surge tokens. All right, so if you attack me, you're not getting a hit through. You know that, right? Or something like that.
Things like that. And it would be so cool because it would be such a swingy faction. It'd be very like luck based.
Yeah.
And it would just fit with the whole theme. I like that. Kind of like you said with Han. And there's got to be stuff like that because like, you got to think like what
it
are
can
the
still keep uncanny luck.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, because you think about the factions right now, like your Empire faction is your very red die heavy, your red save heavy, and very shooty. They don't have a ton of melee characters. The ones they do are very good, but very shooty faction. Your Rebels have like a bunch of tricks, terrible saves, surge defense, things like that. And then Republic and droids are just like Rebels and Empire, but exacerbated, taken to the max. Like Rebels, like Republic is even more shooty with better saves, and you can surge on both ways. Especially if you take phase 2s, you're getting a lot of surges built in. And then like droids, you take them, and where Rebels were focused on their heroes and what those characters do, droids are like, man, our heroes are the same, but even better to an extent. Yeah. So it's just like, what do you do with the Scum and Villainy? Where do they land in that? I guess that's a question for you as well, Kyle. Like, how do you take them to build their own identity?
Well, for example, I think what you said, right? Like maybe we like with clones and droids, they took exaggerations. Maybe like certain units are certain ways, like maybe Hondo is just super good at holding back and being defensive, whereas someone like Boba is like super good, or maybe like what are some other bounty hunters we see? Like
we could do like Dengar,
IG-88. I'm trying to think of her name. The ponytail girl has the antenna on her hair.
Oh, Aura Singh.
Aura Singh, thank you.
Yes.
All these characters from Solo, literally all the characters from the Solo movie, could be in there, and I think that'd be really fascinating. There's just that whole untapped potential of like different flavors and diversity with Scum and Villainy, and I think they should really shine on that. And a good way to do that is like have things that benefit each other. Like, take Han. These effects trigger on Lando or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they're opposite sides of the coin, but they synergize super well.
See, I would love something like that. And like, if they're not a faction where saboteurs and bombing run people are just not good, dude. I think about like X-Wing, and what their scum ships do. Like they need to be like that, where they have such unique things that they can do. Just they need to have an identity. Right. But I feel like FFG having that history of doing that, they could pull this off. Right. They just need to do it right. Yeah. I think it also is a good way to talk about sub factions as well. Oh yeah. Because maybe you can run sub factions for it, where it's like, okay, I have a bunch of pirates, or I have a bunch of Black Sun, or a bunch of the Pike Syndicate characters.
Ooh, Pike Syndicate would be so fun to paint.
I think they're the coolest. Like Black Sun's cool and all, Shadows of the Empire, but I just think the Pikes, man, something about their style and aesthetic is so
robot
cool.
Egyptian,
right? And their heads are freaking massive.
Such a cool species. But continue.
Oh no, that was.
Oh, okay.
That was kind of the end of that point, but there's some cool things that I think could happen. I think definitely special dice is something. Yeah. And I think if anything, like their command cards have got to be the trickiest things. Yeah. Where it's like maybe more like if this then that. Yeah. Or like targeting specific things.
Right. Like if playing against a rebel player, this effect takes place. Or if playing against Empire, this effect takes place. Yeah. Or maybe like just maybe even tone down a little bit. Like if you got shot at this round, do this. Have we seen anything like that? Like, if this person got shot this round, do this?
Not really. I'm trying to think if we have, because I feel like there is something.
Yeah, I want to see.
I feel like there is something that's like.
But like more of that is what I'm saying.
More of that, yeah. Or maybe even stuff where it's like.
Because I know Chewie and Bosk have the Enraged, where if they take damage, they can do more or they gain charge or whatever. So more of that would be nice. I think you're right, though, about the trickiness. I think their command cards have to be, like, the most, like, crazy, ludicrous, like, how are you going to pull this off kind of thing, but the reward is just so high. A risk and reward.
Like, maybe it's the kind of thing where it's like bounty, but anybody can claim it.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? So, like, maybe it's like like for the Scum and Villainy, their spec ops all can claim bounties like that. Or maybe it's the kind of thing where, depending on your commander can issue a bounty for like objectives or something like that. You know what I mean? Maybe it's the kind of thing where they build their own objectives in game, kind of like what they do already with bounty and special mission or secret mission.
Right.
But taken to the extreme. And I don't know how you would execute that, but they would need something like that where it's kind of the whole like idea of gangsters having their own objectives, their own things they're doing, like recover the supplies, like. That needs to be something special for them. Like, maybe they're out to just get Luke this turn. Not necessarily for the Empire, but just for their own good. Or maybe, like, it's the kind of thing where if this unit kills another unit, they gain surge tokens.
Yeah.
Or, like, you know, stuff like that. There needs to be some interesting stuff.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the beauties of it is that there's just so much available for them to try their hand at. And I guarantee you that FFG has had this discussion. If it's not already in the works, they've had the discussion at least to make it in the works. Because let's be honest, we got this whole idea, like you said earlier, from X-Wing. From Armada doesn't have a Scum and Villainy faction, but like I wouldn't doubt if they eventually did as the game grows on. There's a plethora of content from this side of the galaxy that we just don't have in Legion, and it's so interesting to dive into. And I think it would be just fantastic to have some fun with. I think the most important thing, though, it would give an opportunity for some certain characters that we've already gotten, like Han, Chewie, Boba, to get a little bit of a rework, while also adding just flavor to what there already is, if that makes sense.
Agreed. Well, because there's not a super good opportunity to like rebuild Han. There's just not right now at the moment.
Right.
For Rebels.
And they kind of did with Cassian and K2. It's just different characters.
Exactly.
I feel like Cassian and K2 just do what Han and Chewie do, but 10 times better.
Way better.
Yeah.
Agreed.
But yeah, that's pretty much all we want to talk about with that. Matt, do you have any concluding thoughts about Scum and Villainy?
No, just I would guarantee it's happening just because of the whole Mandalorian thing. Because I don't know what faction they would put him on. But I think
and it's after everything that takes place,
It is. And the fact that it's coming out in 2021, I would guarantee means that they have an idea of what's happening. They've talked to Lucasfilm. I could see him being the commander or the operative you get out of like a starter box or a core box. I could see that. But I would just...
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like I'm glad you brought that up because that would be a really interesting way to upgrade it too. Like, here's the Scum and Villainy faction or the neutral faction, right?
Yeah.
You get 2 core units with it, and then you get Mando and Baby Yoda in there. It
would be an upgrade box, not a starter set.
Right. It comes with new objectives. It comes with new tokens, new dice, like everything. It's not a core starter set, but it is probably the biggest. It would be probably the biggest expansion to hit Legion since anything.
Very self-contained.
Bigger than Vital Assets, bigger than anything. And I think it would be the size of like an X-Wing core box where it's like maybe half the size of Legion, but it's like all there,
Well, kind of like buying the Republic or Separatist stuff for X-Wing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed. But that's just all I have to say. Like, keep your mind open, think about it. Let us know what you guys think. Because, obviously we've got some ideas, but they're not super fleshed out because I think for us, we've got such a broad picture idea. Send us your ideas for like maybe this unit or this thing or what would you like to see.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Yeah, in the comments, seriously, let us know. Like, what would be your number? If you could only take one Scum and Villainy neutral unit, character, whatever, what would it be? Let us know.
That's a good question.
But yeah, moving on, we got questions from the community.
Ooh.
So let's just, we got a couple this week. So thank you guys so much for reaching out and asking these questions. Makes our entire night because this is probably one of the things I look forward to most out of the entire podcast is going back and like talking about Legion with the community though. So first question, we kind of answered this a little bit before, so I'm really excited to dive into this one. Casey asks, when should you infiltrate with Cassian and Iden? I feel like I already answered that. I don't know if you got an opportunity to answer that earlier in the podcast, but Matt, when do you think you should infiltrate with Cassian and Iden?
I think it depends on the objective. Whenever it's going to give you an advantage on the objective, you should do it. and depending on the list you're gonna play, like if you're gonna, if you see tauntauns, you may not want to infiltrate real quick because those tauntauns are just gonna get to you quicker. But like if you're recovering the supplies or something like that, or hostage exchange, like you said before, do it.
Yeah.
Get it in there.
I'm 100% with you.
I do think it is key to infiltrate if you're blue player.
Interesting.
Because depending on because if your opponent places a character down, they create that range 3 bubble that you can't infiltrate into.
Right.
So the earlier you can infiltrate, the better. And I find that if you infiltrate at range 3, your opponent, they'll do one of two things. Either they'll just, if you go first, they'll just line up their characters to shoot you round 1, which is another thing you want to watch out for. And if you go last, you're kind of getting a free infiltrate anywhere on the board that's not taken, but your options are very few and far between. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and in the deployments we're getting, that's going to get even more interesting.
Even more interesting, yeah. So I would say it's a very case-by-case situation, but it's going to depend mostly on the objective and thinking about the cost of that character and what value you're going to get out of that action.
Oh, yeah.
So not every time, but I think it is a good thing that you can do it some of the time.
Absolutely. Okay, yeah, moving on. We got Sean. He asks, what models or units do you want to see show up most in the future?
Ooh.
He gave his wonderful answers.
Blaze and Churret.
Yeah, dude, those two would be freaking awesome.
Blaze and Churret would be good.
I think they should be coming eventually. I think that's like automatic.
It seems like they're hitting all the Rogue One characters first.
Yeah.
So I would like to see them and then Saw Gerrera later.
Okay, so here's the thing.
Yeah.
So you know how Star Wars Battlefront 2 is just Legion in a video game?
Kind of, yeah.
So, like, do you think they're talking to each other? Because, like, all the Scarif content is coming at
Oh,
the same...
I see.
You know what I'm saying? Like, all that stuff is coming out when...
I don't know.
Or is it just coincidence?
I think it's coincidence.
Okay.
I think it is.
Because we're getting Cassian at the same time we're expecting to see Scarif show up in Battlefront.
That's interesting. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
it could be,
anyway.
I bet they talk a little bit, but I don't know.
Matt, what's your most desired unit? Any unit. Neutral, Scum and Villainy, Empire, Rebels, Scum, Republic, CIS. What? Old Republic. High Republic.
Don't get me started.
Sequel trilogy.
Okay.
Number 1 most wanted character. Put it on the table right now, or I'm not going to be your friend anymore.
My most out there unit, I want Revan.
Really?
I want Darth Revan.
Ooh.
Not Jedi Revan, Darth Revan. It's so far out there, I don't know if we'll ever get it. Here's the thing. We do know he's canon.
Yeah.
He is canon now. Now, how is he canon? I don't necessarily know. I just know that, like, a Legion of Sith Troopers in the last movie was technically named after him.
Yeah.
So his name is in there canonically. Is he the same character, like, same story? Probably not.
Yeah.
But I would love to get him in the game.
So, answer me this. Why? Yeah. Like, why Revan?
Dude, I'm a huge fan of KOTOR. And
okay.
Like, as much as I love Anakin, I feel like Revan's story is Anakin's story, but better.
Interesting.
Does that make sense?
Interesting.
Except he doesn't try to be a whiny brat, and when he ends at the end, he gets the hot chick and basically save the galaxy from going to war super quick. I liked his character.
Interesting because as much as you love Anakin, you just called him a whiny brat.
Because
so
he is.
That's funny.
He is, but I do love Anakin. But I already know Anakin's coming, so I don't feel like it's a wish list topic.
Yeah.
Like, if it's a wish list idea, kind of like the question, it's got to be Revan. Like, that's a wish list thing. That probably won't happen, but I would love, like, it would make my day.
Yeah.
Like, I play Galaxy of Heroes on the phone, the mobile game. Getting Darth Revan was probably the highlight of that game for me.
Ooh, nice. All right.
What about for you?
Ready for mine?
I swear, if you say Ahsoka Tano.
No! I have the same mode of thought as you. Like, I would say Anakin. Why would you get mad if I said Ahsoka?
I wouldn't. I'm just joking. I actually love Ahsoka. She's great.
I was about to say, because I would say, like, obvious ones like Anakin, Ahsoka, Yoda. Like, we know we're going to get them eventually.
Yeah.
One that I don't know if we're going to ever get, but if I could, like, coerce FFG into doing... Cal Kestis.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know how he would work, but man, I love his character. I love his story.
Well, if Iden did it, made the jump from video game to board game, he could do it too.
Yeah. There's something about his character that just resonates with me on that level that I don't think many other characters have. And I don't know if I mentioned it on the podcast before, but that's partially the reason why I love Ahsoka so much It's just her character is very similar to like trials I've had to go through in my life, and so seeing that in a story that's uplifting is, well, most of the time it's uplifting. But it's really nice to, feel like that. And I'm sure many of you agree that representation with whatever you may be or at in life, that feels good, to have that kind of, feeling of, oh, wow, this character is like me, seeing yourself in the character. I see myself in Cal Kestis a lot. And so, man,
You had to go through your own Order 66.
Yeah. I don't know if that's the
Yeah.
But yeah, like in a way, I just the whole like, it's personal stuff. But yeah, it's just really cool. Like I love his character, and so yeah, if I would 100% probably play with him nonstop. Like I don't care if he's bad. That's one of those characters. It's like I play him because it's him. So same reason why people play Han and Chewie still.
Yeah. Hey, we get another Dio in the game if that happened.
No, that's not Dio. That's BD.
Oh, it's BD.
Dio
What's
is the sequel trilogy.
Dio is
droid.
the sequel trilogy one.
But that's the thing. You could give BD his own little basically small like Dio.
No, because he'd probably just come on Cal. He'd be on his shoulder or something.
Oh, so he could do. Ooh, what if he can perform his own actions without being like part of?
Oh.
He gives Cal another action.
I see what you're saying. I like it. It'd be cool.
I'm just saying. That's what they should have done with 3PO, but whatever. I really think if you're going to be an extra mini with your own whole complete card, you should get your own action, at least one. But balance. What are you going to do?
Agreed.
But yeah, those are our two most wanted units. Guys, again, let us know. What do you want? What do you want in Legion the most? And then Casey asks next, he says, how will friendly local game stores cope with the massive shutdown and shutdown in business due to the virus? Well, not well.
Not good, Jim. Yeah.
Most of the stores in our area are shutting down, or at least slowing down or compromising hours.
It's about every business, I think, is doing
Yeah.
it. Like my drive home today was like the last day we had actual work, and we got sent home with logins for online access. I think everybody's going to get sent home. It is interesting, though, because you work at a store, and you told me this, that people are coming in to buy games still. So maybe the game nights aren't happening, but you're still seeing the same number of purchases. Is that true?
Yeah, well, so like something I find super interesting, like today was weird because it was way slow, but we made a really good, we made a killing today. I'm just going to cut it straight. What are people going to do when they're at home quarantine? They're going to want to play board games, you know? They're going to play tabletop games. They're going to want to do what they want to do. That being said, I don't know what it's going to look like if we ever get into like a full-on like shutdown of everything.
Like if we get like a week or two in and it's not just once time goes by.
Right. All I'm going to say is that in the event, I'm probably going to, like tomorrow, I have store credit. I'm probably going to get some Legion expansions. I'm probably going to get a board game to play with the fam in case we do go into just something new and refreshing to play. In case we do go into that, because I think everyone has the same mindset. Like, it's not like the toilet paper panic, right? It's not like everybody wants toilet paper.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people are just like, oh, that would be something really nice to have in case we can't leave the house for a couple weeks. Is like a fun game to play, you know? And so we're seeing a lot of business, and to the point where the owner, like, and I stand by the owners with this. We don't want to shut down because we're giving to the community in a way that is helping us a lot too.
Well, it's interesting because I feel like it's also you guys helping the community a lot to cope with something that can be scary for a lot of people. And I do know that the game, at least game nights for a lot of people, is a big thing to kind of relieve your tension. For a lot of people, it's the one day of the week where you are able to go out, do something you want to do. Win or lose, you're going to relax. Like that's what you do to relax. That's where I kind of worry a little bit. Because I don't know about every country. Like I don't know about all the countries in Europe or even Latin America about what's going on. But I do imagine a lot of them are probably doing bailouts to an extent. I know here especially they're thinking about how to bail out consumers, especially not necessarily businesses, but consumers. And I think if your FLGS can take purchases online, maybe do that. Yeah. But I would say just keep an eye out. Yeah. Support them in whatever ways you can.
No, I 100% agree. And it just helps us stay open. Like really, like if we're being completely cut and dry, a closure of over a month would probably mean this game store couldn't stay open because because we go so cheap on so much stuff, we don't make a huge killing. And that being said, like if we weren't able to stay open for a month, there would be no money there anymore, and it would be really scary to kind of go through that. So that's something I've thought about. I don't know how we're going to handle it. I can tell you that I would work with the owners 100% on like maybe doing like, oh, we'll show up at appointments like, oh, we have this game, I'll meet you at the store or something like that. Yeah. Or maybe I just chill in the store and like one person in at a time. You know, I don't know.
Like a line.
Yeah,
well, it's interesting. Is
but then that's probably worse because then there's a line outside.
Right. Well, it's interesting. I was listening to a podcast about a guy over for the CDC talking about disease, and so the same thing the game store is going to experience would be the same thing that each individual will experience. Yeah. That time off means no money coming in, so it's nice to have free time, but you'll have time without any money going in. So hopefully the government's able to figure out something. And hopefully that if we're all following, you know, I hate to say like following the rules, but like if we're all just being cautious, staying clean, hopefully we can help to kind of keep this thing down and things won't last too long.
No, I'm 100% with you. So guys, like if you guys are ever in the Salt Lake area or will be soon before this whole thing gets worse, hopefully it doesn't. I'm not saying it will guaranteed. We're hopeful for the best. Consider stopping by, getting a new game to get you through those couple weeks because those will probably be hard times. We'd hate for you to feel discouraged. So get a game, you know, get a new unit to paint, you know, get whatever.
Go buy a pack of dice or something from your FLGS, not even here, just like wherever you are. Just
and if you don't end up needing it, great. But at least you got something for yourself.
And if you can't, at least you're encouraging the store.
Exactly. I did make a funny post on Facebook today. I was really happy about though.
Oh yeah.
I took a picture of Pandemic, the game.
Oh yeah. Oh.
And I posted on Facebook. I was like, "Hey everyone, in case there's a quarantine, get yourself a fresh new board game." Maybe in bad taste, but I thought it was hilarious.
That's funny. Oh god.
Well, I think that about does it for us today, Matt. Any concluding thoughts from you?
Just stay clean, guys. Shower, wash your hands. Stay away from, you know, people who are susceptible.
Yeah.
Keep it clean.
Keep it clean, fast, quick and clean. Yeah, quick and clean.
Quick and clean.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Stop. Stop doing that. Okay.
All right, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.